We are live. What's up, everybody? It is September 30th. It's a Tuesday night, coming fresh off a bye week, which are the best types of weeks. So we did not lose this past weekend, which is fantastic. We're heading into Michigan State week. We're heading into a massive, massive slate for the Huskers. I'm David. I've got my brother Andrew here with us tonight. Andrew, how are we feeling on this Tuesday evening, fresh off a wonderful bye weekend?
Yeah, I feel renewed. Feel like refreshed. I feel like I took like a spa weekend, and there was just a full cleansing. Just watching all these other teams lose was just awesome. I didn't love that most of the teams on our schedule lost. I know you threw out a tweet that got some real blowback and stuff there, but it is nice to know that everyone's beatable on our schedule, I guess.
Okay. Actually, so we have three topics to kick the show off with. But first, we'll do some merch pro before we jump into some fighting. Check out huskguysstore.com. Huskguysstore.com. We got Run the Damn Ball off. We got If We Die, We Die. We've got This Is the Year gear. We got all kinds of cool merchandise. Make sure you guys check it out. Huskguysstore.com. Three topics that I want to jump into first, that coming off the bye week, because I am chronically online and read everything. And I also think, just being the Husk guys, we've got over 150,000 followers across all different platforms. So we've got a pretty good pulse of the fans for how people are feeling about the team, what they're feeling about what's going on with the Huskers. And the first one, okay, we'll jump into the past weekend of the Nebraska opponents and everybody who played. So I didn't think I was this much of an anomaly. I very aggressively cheer against every team on our schedule every week. I want them to lose. I want them all to get hurt. I want them all to fall apart. I want them all to look terrible. Like, I don't want anyone to win ever. And then I want to drink their tears after they've lost. Like, I didn't think I was in like a total anomaly. Like, I want by the time they come to play us, I want them to be just in shambles. I want them to I want their quarterback to not have an arm. I want them to be on their fourth string
every week.
I want their coach to be fired. I want the fans to hate the team. I want them I guess after I tweeted that, I basically tweeted over the weekend that Iowa lost. So did Penn State. So did UCLA. And who else lost? Four of our opponents lost this weekend. Who was the fourth one? Minnesota. Anyway, I was celebrating it. I loved it. I loved watching Iowa lose. I've loved and Minnesota won. I loved watching Iowa lose. I thought that was fantastic. I loved watching Penn State lose. Like, that was promising to me that they are beatable. Watching Iowa lose, even though they were close, was like, I like them losing because they're probably going to lose 6 games. I didn't think I was in the but then basically the blowback was we need all of these teams to be ranked really high when we play them, so it makes us look better. But I feel like people are forgetting the fact that we don't beat anybody. So, especially if they're top 10.
But you do, but you want to beat somebody.
But we don't. So, I would rather play an in shambles UCLA than a Penn State that just beat Oregon.
Okay, but let me hit you with the converse.
I don't think I'm wrong.
When Boston College last year beat Florida State, they were number 10. And we thought, oh my gosh, this BC team, wow, they're making a statement. And then Florida State won 2 games but it felt way better beating a top 10 Florida State team than the team that finished last in Power 5 last year.
I get the concept, but I also the reality is we have not beat a top 25 team since Obama was president. So it's, there's the reality of we do not want any of these. Oh, USC. There it was. USC lost. We do not want any of these teams to be 10-0 teams. It's more so for me, I'm watching the teams that I'm watching for weaknesses, and the fact that Penn State has weaknesses. We came into the season, everyone's like, Penn State's going to go 15-0, and you're like, I watched the game. I was like, well, I mean, Drew Aller is very average. I don't know.
What was funny about that was they were down 17-3 and everyone was just dogging on them, and then
he's pretty good. They're probably
at the wrong time, because then they scored 2 straight touchdowns, and that was by no fault of yours. They looked bad
Terrible.
through three quarters. Like Oregon is just a very good team, very good competition, and Allard just looked so mid. I mean, he was just very, I don't know. But then he just made some fantastic throws. Anyways, I think that what you were trying to convey, and to back you up, is like I do like having this feeling like, okay, if Cal can beat Minnesota,
Correct.
we can definitely beat Minnesota.
Correct.
Like I do get a little bit of like maybe some reassurance that I shouldn't. I would love to beat a 10-2 team every single week. That would be sick. But
we just don't. We're not there yet. I just think we're not there, and I would rather
and that's
see.
not what our schedule is either. So
Yeah,
you beat
I'd
who's
rather
on the
see the
schedule.
weaknesses.
Whatever happens to them, happens to them.
Yeah, I would rather beat like I know, and I know I was beatable because they've lost twice. I know USC, like the fact that USC struggled mightily against Illinois is very, very promising to me because their offense was unbelievable up until that game, and UCLA is a complete disaster. Minnesota hasn't looked outstanding. They've really struggled with Rutgers. So all of these games, I watched the Big Ten slate start to finish. I love it. I think it's fantastic, but I also aggressively cheer for all of them, especially teams that we play. Like teams that we don't play, I like barely even watch. But those games, I don't know. I didn't know I was in the minority. I thought everybody cheered for all the games that we play against to be terrible.
What do you got next?
All right. Second topic. Because we're coming off a bye, so we're not yet into the Michigan State week. We'll get to it in a second. So this is interesting. So Rules got his new podcast. It is called House Rules. Have you listened to it?
Yes, all of it.
Okay. I've listened to all of them. Every
things
episode.
Huskers in mass quantities. It's very unhealthy.
It is. Yeah, I've listened to all of them. And here's like
his show is healthy though. I will say his show is actually
very healthy.
Yeah.
Heartwarming. Here's like you could see this coming from a mile away. Basically, he even said it. He said it in multiple episodes. He's like, I know exactly what's going to happen if we lose. If people are going to hammer me for having a podcast, and they're going to say, stop podcasting, more coaching. Stop podcasting, coach the defense. Stop podcasting, the offensive line's bad. And because, as I mentioned, like we've got a great handle of the pulse of Husker Nation, that's exactly what happened. It was all over our mentions.
Exactly what happened.
It was all over our mentions. It was all over every post we put up was like, hey, Rules, we had a good week of practice. Well, yeah, how's your podcast? Like it was very predictable, and he's putting himself out there and getting attacked for it.
Yeah.
So I guess here's my overall stance on it. I think on the positive side, I think he is building the brand of the program. I think he's doing a great job promoting the program, promoting himself, promoting the team. I think, he had on Dave Portnoy last week. He had on Will Compton last week. He had on the Texas Tech coach, this week or whenever that was released. So he is having some very interesting conversations. He's having, he's building the brand and cross promoting with a lot of different folks. I think that's all positive.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about leadership. He's talking about a lot of good things. The con to me is that and you could argue with me, he doesn't talk a lot about football. He does, but he doesn't, right? He interviews the volleyball players, which is great. And he has, all these different people on, and he asks them about their lives and what they do outside of football. So I think that my feedback to him would be yes, Tom Osborne had a show. Frank Solich has a show. Everybody's got shows. Nick Saban's got a show. They just only talk football. And it comes across a little more like he's kind of trying to build his career after Nebraska than the brand. Go ahead and fight me on that. That's sort of my It seems like he's going. Point. He's trying to be like an ESPN personality. Yeah.
Okay. Because I can't even remember who it was mentioned that he's perfect for broadcasting and whatever in the future. He's the second he gets fired, somebody's going to hire him from ESPN, CBS, something like that. Which is fair. He's very well spoken. He carries himself super well. I think he has a very. I think a lot of it comes from his pastor father background. I think he has such a focus on like development of like young good men and stuff, and I love that. And a lot of his conversations that he has are all about like, positive character development. Like, what do you do when you lose? Like, how do you um, uh, gain like competitive edges? Topics like that and stuff that are just like all about like you and you on the inside. Um, I don't hate it for that part of things. My only takeaway, like as you said, is just or I guess negative takeaway would just be I'm like, well, walk me through this play. Like, what happened here? Like, what? But that's not what he's going to do. He's in the middle of his season. He's not going to be like, well, we called Spider XY2 banana, and Harburg, didn't shallow his route appropriately, and it's just like, well, he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
He will if you catch him, like on the side of the road or something. I'm sure the guy loves football and loves talking football. But I think the whole point of it is like build the brand of Nebraska as much as you can, be as public as you can. And it's a complete, the reason that I think it is admirable, like the positive side of it is he's doing everything that he possibly can to get Nebraska into this like echelon of like, we're in the public imagination. We are like constantly like he wants to capture headlines that are not, hey, Rayola got a haircut today. He looks like Mahomes again. And then like we don't, that's not what we want. He wants us to be like, he wants it to be like, wow, listen to this podcast. They've got a great guy leading this program. Like, hey, recruits, like, go take a listen to this guy. Like, listen to this character development he's focused on. Like, you could be such a great young man. Once you play for Matt Rule, you've always played for Matt Rule. Once you've come to Nebraska, you're going to be a better man for it. Like, all of those things he echoes over and over. And I think that's like this podcast is just an extension of that. And
and I think that's like the fact that he's doing it, and the fact that he's on McAfee to me with a not top 25 team
that too. It is crazy
like
that he has
that
time
to
for
me
all
is
these things.
Well, I guess that one to me is like, okay, the fact that, Kirby Smart's not on there every week and Matt Rule is like, that's great for us. That's great for recruiting. He did say some of the recruits, they listen to his podcast, and, that's helping recruiting. That the parents of the recruits listen to the podcast for how he coaches. That's outstanding. Great. 10 out of 10. The stuff that like, to where he loses me a little bit is, and this is like probably unfair because he lives a healthy life, healthier than us. Well, honestly, because like he even comes on there and like, when they talk, he talks about he basically watches all the NFL games. And the only thing that like triggers my brain a little bit is like, if you watch the Saban show and he's an alien, he's a total like Martian. Saban and Belichick and Kirby Smart, you listen to them, they only watch their teams that they play. Like Saban, like notoriously is like, all I watch is Alabama and their opponents, and I focus on the next week, and that's all I do 24/7. I'm a total robot. Like he has no like anything outside. Belichick is like, those guys are robots. So it just triggers a little bit to me when I'm like, oh, you watched 16 hours of NFL after we lost to Michigan? Okay, I watched film. Like I'm just a random podcaster. Like, I hope you watch some film and not just like the Eagles. So it triggers a little bit for me. Like,
let me build on that for a second. Think about this schedule and how much trouble you would get in with your wife if you had a podcast, a McAfee show, I'm just watching football all Sunday and all of Saturday if I'm not coaching. Also, on the bye week, he said he flew to 3 or 4 different cities for like recruiting trips.
I think
he went out to like Vegas for the boxing fight and everything. And I'm like, how do you get away with this in your home life? Like, my God, I'm doing a podcast and Becca just knocked on the door.
I think for the season they're just like, hey, they tell their wives like, hey, give me 90 days. I'll just see you at Christmas. Hopefully not at Christmas. Hopefully late January. Anyway, I think my overall is like, it's mostly positive, but I get like, as predicted, the blowback's going to happen in the losses. If you win, it's fantastic. James Franklin's under a ridiculous amount of heat right now for losing. And he's kind of saying like, yeah, you guys come at me for, the way that we prepare this week after a loss, but after a win, like, different things happen. So, you react differently to wins and losses. That was the one thing I wanted to riff on. And then the last one I want to riff on is, All right,
What do they want?
I went nuts on this, and so did a lot of Nebraska media, which was very rare. So the Raiola criticism, and I think because this is the first time a lot of people had watched him this season on the national stage, a primetime game against Michigan that had a lot of eyeballs on it. The I sort of have like we've talked about this, how like the Mahomes thing, he does do some things that you're like, all right, like enough with kind of the haircut and the jumping in the pregame
The jumping
and
pregame is
in the hair,
all
like
know.
the
We
headband and
see you.
stuff.
Yeah, we see you.
Oh yeah, the
Right.
glasses, got it. But then like when it
It's just like it
Christian,
felt right. I don't know. It just felt like
I just
something that
I just randomly ran to the end
came
zone and just
came
decided
from
to jump.
within, and then I saw that Patrick has done that every single game. But
Which I honestly like, whatever. He's his favorite player. It's
yeah,
like idolizing Michael Jordan, and he goes and does it. Like I don't fault that
yep.
stuff. But then like when the media kicks in and they're like, there's a picture that like CBS, I think, or whoever it was like either CBS or whatever show, whatever channel it was on.
Yeah.
They tweeted, here's Raiola doing the Mahomes, and he was just flexing. I was like, dude, literally
Yeah.
every player ever does that. And so now
This
I'm
is
like,
true.
you can't do the like, oh, he's doing like, they're like, he's doing the finger waggle. And like one time they were like, he wears his pants like to the side. Like, I'm like, it's taken on this life of its own that people are crushing him for like just playing football. And then where this crescendoed and where like the Nebraska media started to get involved, Tom Fernelli and Ari Wasserman, these clowns in the national media were like, oh, like Rail not any good because all he does is just try to be Mahomes. And like they were saying things like Bryce Underwood's doing more pre-snap than Raiola because all Rail is trying to do is Mahomes. And like they just minimize his entire like existence to being like, oh, all he does is try to throw sidearm and all these things. And you're like, you look at his stats and you're like, he's one of 25 FBS quarterbacks that have thrown for 1,000 yards. Yeah. He's got 14, only 14 of them have 10 touchdowns, only 5 of 100 completions. He's got all three. He's the only one that has 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 100 plus completions in the entire country. And so I think it gets minimized into this weird, like, oh, he's doing the Mahomes. You're like, well, that's such a lazy take. And so now I've gone from being like, yeah, he kind of does the Mahomes thing, but to like, they're forcing all of this stuff on him. And it's unfair because he's actually playing extremely well.
That one group that I couldn't even tell if they were engagement farming or what, but they were like, did you just see how he adjusted his pants? And I'm like, oh my God. Can the guy wear a pair of pants without you commenting on how he looks
flexing?
Like
I literally Googled NFL players flexing. It got 10,000 results. Like everybody flexes.
Right.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, that needs to be put to rest. I mean, obviously Raiola could help put that to rest by maybe altering a few of his behaviors, but I don't care as long as he is playing as well as he is.
Yeah, correct.
That is probably like, God, I mean, like people are missing that he's a top 3 quarterback in the conference right now. I don't think anybody like can argue that. Just statistically speaking, I get it. You haven't played the competition and stuff that other teams maybe have, but he also did just throw for 300 yards on Michigan, right? Like there's things that he's doing right now that no one in Nebraska history has ever done, and like you're kind of missing the boat here a little bit. It's just like,
yeah.
My God, he's completing over 75% of his passes. No one's done that here. Like Tommy Frazier was like under 60%. Like, like this is some of the best quarterbacking that we have ever seen in a span of 4 games. Like just let's just enjoy it. My goodness, guys.
Yeah,
and
enjoy it. It's
Cornelli coming out and just attacking him like that was just so like he's trying to do the sidearm thing. Well, yeah, because he can, and he completes the passes.
And it works.
He finds guys, he makes things work that otherwise would not. Put it this way, like if you switched like Bryce Underwood last week with Raiola, we would have lost by 40 points.
Well, and that's like, I lost it on that too because they're like Bryce is doing more pre-snap than Raiola. Like, did nobody watch the game? Like,
garbage.
Bryce was completed less than 50% of his passes. He's a good runner. He's not this like savant. I mean, and they simplified the playbook for him.
He'll get there. He's good. He's athletic. He can definitely be more mobile.
There are things that Riola does better than anybody, and like most of that is done pre-snap. He walks up to the line, he knows exactly what the defense is coming at him, he knows exactly what the pre-snap looks like. He knows blitzing linebackers, all those things. So you got to give him credit for those things. He deserves plenty of criticism for the fact that he can't avoid a sack to save his life. Like that's he just stands there and just gets massacred. But like, there's things I just feel like there's levels of things he can be criticized for, which are like he's very slow moving, which is not ideal. And there's things that you shouldn't criticize him for, which is like the way he wears his pants and flexing and like he goes like this for he wants to, he told Rule to like bring the play in, and they're like, oh, Mahomes does that. I'm like, guys, oh my god, like Mahomes asks for plays, you know why he does that? Because he's the quarterback. Like, what are we doing?
God, they're just waiting for it, just pouncing on it.
Those are my 3 topics. We got to get some Michigan State talk in, but those are. I was coming off a bye week, and I was like, God, I was like having the pulse of the fans. Those are my.
We should unload that a little bit. Yeah,
unload a little bit. All right, let's talk Michigan State. We got Michigan State coming to town. Which, by the way, I honestly I forgot this was a home game again. Like I was for some reason I was like, wait, we've had like 6 straight home games. How can we have another home game?
Because of that Cincinnati game.
Yeah,
the Cincy game has made it feel that way. Yeah,
I mean, it feels like it's almost October and we haven't played like a true road game yet, which is unbelievably awesome. So you have Michigan State coming to town. Michigan State, we're favored. We come out favored at 11.5, but I've seen it like flex all the way down to like 8 to 9.
It's dropping a little bit. Yeah,
it's a big test. So we've lost nine Big Ten games as a favorite since 2021. Not optimal, but no, that's not a fun stat. But I looked that one up today. It's historically a game we struggled with, but it's, we're 3-1, they're 3-1, both coming off a bye. They're coming off a loss to USC where they battled pretty strongly. They were down 1 touchdown heading into the fourth quarter. And USC kind of pulled away. Maybe it wasn't as close as the score indicated, but they put up points. They can score. Jonathan Smith, the noted program builder in his 2nd season, coming fresh off of Oregon State. Big time program builder, offensive mind. Last year they were 5-7. They just missed the bowl game. His overall record as a head coach, 42-43 in 8 seasons. His best year was a 10-3 year at Oregon State in 2022. Finished 17th in the country, and then an 8-4 win in 2023 before coming to Michigan State. What do you think of these guys?
Yeah. So before the season, I actually had this one as a sneaky loss, just knowing that like Aiden Childs is a 5-star quarterback, came over from Oregon State with Jonathan Smith. He knows the system well. He knows what he's doing around there, and everything is going to end up revolving around him. I just kind of worried me in that regard. And then they had Nick Marsh as well. He's their leading receiver. He had set freshman school records and everything there. It's like, man, these guys, they could be dangerous. They could sneak up on some teams. Now, I am starting that thought, and things have changed because this is a dynamic season. The season is not static. Our preseason expectations, I thought their defense was going to be a little bit better. Like last year, they had like the 32nd ranked rushing defense. Like, oh, that's not good. They had 62% returning production. That was 35th in the country. It's like, okay, so they're bringing some people back. Turns out they are awful on defense, and that is
very bad.
Really reassuring to me. So yeah, let's break it down. I think like my prediction that they might sneak up and beat us has changed. Sneak preview, Maryland, the next game. Feeling a little uneasy about that one now.
Yeah, you're going to be there though. Are you going to that game?
I am going to the Maryland game.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to have you there.
So we'll win that. I mean, as long as I'm there.
As long as you're there.
I'll be on the sideline. I'm going to be like tripping the players in the end zone. It's going to be great.
But, yeah, let's talk. I mean, defensive wise.
Yes.
Points per game wise, they're giving up 28.5, which is 15th in the Big Ten, third to last, third to last. Yards per game, they're getting up 384, which is 17th in the Big Ten, second to last. And passing yards per game, which is a great stat for us, they are giving up 263.5, which is dead last in the Big Ten. Great news for us because we are, number 2 in the Big Ten in passing. So the fact that we can line up against they're giving up 1 million points, tons of yards, tons of passing yards a game. Their starting linebacker is out for the season. I think that was kind of like a nastier injury from what I understand. But they gave up yards, all the yards allowed this season. Against Western Michigan, they gave up 217. And then against Boston College, our alma mater, 457 yards allowed, which is this is a Boston College team that then went on to lose to Stanford as well as Cal. They had 457 yards. Youngstown State put up 340 yards, and USC had 523. They're giving up a lot of yards.
Some yards up. Yeah, they are major poop on defense, and that is absolutely awesome for us. They're giving up 6 yards per play, which is normally a stat you want your offense to be having, not your defense. The biggest things that have kind of stood out, like they were pretty stout against the run last year. They're doing okay this year, but they are giving up a ton of yards through the air. And that has like Michigan State, I mean, historically, especially under like in the D'Antonio era and everything, gosh, they used to just be like that no-fly zone. They used to be, the team that had just like solid secondaries year after year after year. They had one of the best defenses in the country a few straight years. And that's what got like D'Antonio over to Pitt and everything too. But yeah, they've already given up 1,000 passing yards through 4 games. Their passer rating against them is 149.82. They have 2 interceptions and they've allowed 9 passing touchdowns. So my thoughts, seeing just the numbers and then looking through kind of the USC game as well, is I think Rayo's going to have a field day. I really do.
I think the things that are in our favor. So they have 6 sacks on the season through 4 games.
Yeah, that's too. Their pass rush stinks.
I mean, 6 sacks against Youngstown State and Boston College and Western Michigan, only getting 6 in those games. Like maybe they don't get any against USC, fine, but 6 in those games is like, all right, so they don't rush well, which is great for us because we don't block well, right? So that's like our biggest weakness, giving up 7 to 8 sacks against Michigan.
Yeah, so those weaknesses just neutralize.
Their defensive backs are young. They're pretty young across the board. They're freshmen and sophomores. I think that it's one of those things where you hope you can just get Jonathan Smith on his second year side, or like they'll probably be really good in 2 years. But let's catch them now when they're not, and their defensive backs are young and they don't have a lot of depth, and their linebackers hurt, so they don't have like that depth yet. So it's like that's the stuff that 6 sacks. The defensive backs are ranked 117th in success rate against the pass. Like they don't defend well. How many interceptions do you say?
2.
Yeah, so 2 interceptions, 6 sacks in 4 games.
2 interceptions, but they've given up 9 passing touchdowns.
9 passing touchdowns. I mean, they're not doing a ton there. And so it truly has to be like, okay, let Dylan have his way and move the ball as effective as we can. We've got 5 different guys. I think you talked about this. We have 5 different guys with 100 yards receiving. So Barney, Key, Hunter, Lindenmeyer, and Mills are each over 100 yards, and each of them has at least 1 touchdown.
Spreading it around, yeah.
So Barney's at 300, Key's at 226, Hunter's got almost 200 yards, Lindenmeyer's got 160, and Mills has 128. So between those 5 guys against this secondary that's really struggling,
Quinn Clark is like right there too.
Quinn Clark's right there. I mean, hopefully Mosey's got 7 catches for 93 yards. Like the fact that he can spread it around, all 5 of those guys hopefully are getting open. Hopefully Dane Keys has a day. When you put like a 5th-year senior like Dane Key up against a super young secondary, that's something that you got to get excited about.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the thing to me, like if you just take like these last 4 games and use them as a sample and say, okay, what do I know about Nebraska so far? What do we need the other team to be pretty bad at in order for us to beat them? Because frankly, right now, we're kind of unsure if we can run the ball on anybody. But I'm pretty sure we can pass the ball.
Yeah, correct.
Seeing all of these stats and everything, and seeing Rayola kind of spread it around, and the fact that we're completing over 75% of our passes through 3 games is like, I mean, that's outstanding. One of the best passing offenses that we've had in recent memory. you just have to learn how to beat teams in different ways. But like, if that's our strength and we're going to be spreading it around like that, like this is a team that you've got a clear advantage on. And I'm like, it's like such a glaring advantage that now I think I would be kind of disappointed if if it ends up being like within 2 touchdowns. Because they could not stop USC. I don't know
Not
if
at
you
all.
looked at
I don't think USC did. USC punt all night.
They did. Well, they went turnover on downs once, and then they fumbled once, and then they went downs at the very end of the game.
Oh, they fumbled. That's right.
USC had touchdowns, or they scored on 6 out of their 10 possessions. And it was like 28 points in the first half. So, Michigan State they were just trying to keep up the entire time. So
yeah, so USC went field goal, touchdown, downs, touchdown. Then that fun play fumble. They followed the fumble up with a touchdown. Yeah. So they basically scored almost every drive except for that fumble. One downs, one fumble. I'll take that.
Yeah, the only game that they didn't allow a passing touchdown in was Michigan State. So was Western Michigan. They allowed 4 passing touchdowns to BC, 0 interceptions. They had 2 passing touchdowns allowed versus Youngstown State, 1 interception. They had 3 passing touchdowns allowed against USC on 9 yards per pass. 0 interceptions, and then their passing yardage totals were 234, 242, 390, and then 188 with Western Michigan going backward. So, again, we should be okay running the ball, but the big advantage here is going to be just take it to the skies, air it out, and it's time to spread it around and enjoy ourselves.
I spent way too much time on this today, so I'm going to flash it up here. But I was just sitting there thinking about like how the offense has evolved and what impact that Holgerson has this year. Because I think if you kind of look at some of the last games last year and then the Michigan game, I think it kind of muddies it a little bit. So I was just looking at stats alone and also points of the first 4 games for the first 3 years under Rule. Because remember how much of a freaking struggle it was last year with Satterfield? It was like a disaster. Year 1. In the first 4 games where we also played 4 not very good teams in those first 4 games of each of these 4 seasons, we had 314 total yards on average across the 4, mostly running because it was just the Harburg show and Jeff Sims like completely fell apart. So like 304. So we went from 314 to the improvement up to 400 last year.
314 so bad.
314 so bad. 400 yards per game with Raiola in year 1, which still kind of felt like, it's okay, to 496. So 314 at the 496, which is what we're averaging this year through the first 4 games. It's a 60% improvement. So 314 at the 496. You take that improvement, it's against the same type of caliber teams. And the passing went from 114 yards per game in 2023 up to 351 yards per game in 2025 So we're passing like crazy. The rushing is going down.
The first 4 games in each of those seasons, too, and that's kind of the key there in the first month.
Well, I think that's the apples to apples because I think our Novembers have been terrible, and hopefully this year is better. But these are still against not as good teams.
The expectation is you keep getting better, right?
Yeah, and this is a game. This is a game. Game 5. This game should continue. I would expect these types of numbers. I would expect 496 yards. I would expect 350 through the air, and if he can throw 350 against Michigan, it's got to be. It's got to be minimum against Michigan State, somewhere in that ballpark. I think the number we'd like to see go up is that rushing number at 144.8. That's the one we really struggled with, and so I think if you get that one up, this could be an off to the races type game.
Sure.
But the concern is. I think the biggest concern is what does Michigan State do offensively? I think Aiden Childs being their quarterback, former 5-star centerpiece of the offense, he's strong. He's got like the Bryce Underwood type intangibles. He can run, he can throw. He puts up a ton of points. He does it without a very strong supporting cast around him. Or specifically, like their left tackle is out, which is huge. So their starting offensive tackle on the left side, who started all 4 games, is out. They've got very, very strong receivers. Probably the best group of receivers that Nebraska is going to face this year. Nick Marsh, Amari Kelly.
That's a statement.
You don't think so? Who's better?
Penn
Cincinnati?
State's got no,
sorry. The best we have faced. Sorry.
So far.
I said Michigan's wide receivers are not that good.
No, they're not. Yeah. So far, yes, I agree. Yeah.
So
Nick
far,
Marsh is like takes he takes their whole receiving room to another level already.
Nick Marsh is strong. Amari Kelly, he's transferred. He's their leading receiver. He's got 317 yards. And they've got some tight ends that they throw too. So I think on that side, I think the concern here to me is like, we're going to score points. I bet we put up 40 plus. The concern is it 45-42 heading into like the final 5 minutes of the game?
Yeah.
I just feel like that's the only way this thing goes.
It is interesting. Like, I think if Michigan State's going to cover the spread, they just have to keep scoring and keep scoring. I guess I like that I have seen that, Brendan Sorsby, after playing us, seems to just be lighting the world on fire. He's
crushing it.
He's going over 300 yards passing every single game. He got like the highest passer rating on PFF or something this last week. Like, I don't know.
2 straight weeks.
Yeah. So like you're cheering for them and stuff to be. So yeah, that gives you a little reassurance and stuff in that way. Once you beat them, of course, once you beat them, you can cheer for them all you want. But yeah, it's interesting because Michigan State, so they are pretty average at running, and they're pretty. I think they're pretty good at passing. I mean, Childs is dynamic, Marsh is very dynamic, but they run the ball 57% of the time.
Yeah,
and they only pass 43% of the time. And Childs has not thrown more than 29 passes in a game, and it's this weird like why aren't they playing to their true strength type thing?
Yeah, it's like
hopefully. And I think that the answer is Childs is just very inconsistent. I think he's good. I think he's better than most people were expecting. But he's also, I don't know, he's just very spotty. Like you saw him in USC, like in the second half alone. I think they had 2 drives. It was like 3 and out, and then maybe it was like another 3 and out, and then the 75-yard passing touchdown. It was just like these like ups and downs and ups and downs.
He finished. He was 12 of 21. 12 of 21 against USC. So
they weren't really. 21 passes. That would make me think that they have nobody to pass it to, and they're just a running football team. But they're kind of not, and so that's where I'm like, what is their goal on offense? Like, what are they trying to really do here? So that being said, I think that if I'm trusting our strengths here again, like that's how you got to break games down. Like the evidence that we have is that we're not very good against the run. They'll probably get their yards against our rush defense. But if their only way to like keep up in a game is to like force Childs into passing situations and stuff, then I think our secondary is the strength. And so like that just kind of ends up playing into our strengths and stuff there. And
yeah, it is. I mean, it is interesting in the sense that it's truly hard to understand on our defensive side. And I posted this and kind of intentionally posted it, and I knew I was going to get crushed for it. But passing yards allowed per game, we're only giving up 75.5 yards per game. Cincinnati to Sorsby, we only gave up 69. He has thrown for at least 350 yards in each of the 3 games since playing us. Akron, we held them to 62, HCU 67, and then Michigan 105. 69, 62, 67, 105. Obviously, Michigan ran for 300 yards. They didn't need to pass. But you go into a game with Aiden Childs, and you're like, all right, well, if we can take him out of the game the way that USC did, avoiding the big plays, avoiding some of the bigger plays there, like, and you turn it into I don't know. The question becomes, can we stop the run? I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Them running the ball 70% of the time gives me hives.
I mean, I just don't think this Michigan State offense is that improved from last year. They're definitely a little bit better. I just don't know how much better. Their scoring offense last year was 19.3 points per game. They were 123rd. Their points per play was 0.31. That was 120th in the country. Their rushing totals this year have been 181 versus Western Michigan, 149 versus BC, 174 versus Youngstown State, and 112 against USC. And in each of those games, they had over 30 rushes. So, like, yeah, I mean, they like to run the ball. But, like, if you're not cracking, like, 150 yards in 2 of your 4 games so far, and those 2 of the 4 games have been BC and USC, the other 2 you did crack 150 was Western Michigan and Youngstown State. I don't know if you can call yourself a rushing team.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the concern is, and this is like the concern.
The concern's probably Kyle's legs, right?
Well, I think the concern is Michigan State's offense, the way that they run, is basically built on the exact things that we struggled with. It's outside run game and a mobile quarterback. That's Brendan Sorsby. It's Bryce Underwood. It's mobile quarterbacks we struggle a ton with. True. And then the outside run game, the outside zone, we struggle a ton with. So if they're watching film and they figured that part out, and then, obviously our run defense is ranked well outside the top 100 in yards per carry, which is not optimal.
Yeah. Aiden Childs, I mean, the other thing on him, I guess I would say, is that he's definitely been more accurate than last year. He's still inconsistent. Like, that's still his biggest flaw. But he's a former 5-star guy that can live up to the billing any moment. 70 for 102 on the year for 68.6%. He does have 9 passing touchdowns and only 1 interception for 217 yards per game. But the bigger thing for him is, if you look at his rushing attempts too, 10 rushes against Western Michigan, 12 against BC, 8 against Youngstown, and 9 against USC. So he likes to take off. He likes to run the ball. In fact, he has the second most rushing attempts on this rushing built offense. However, he is only averaging 3.9 yards per rush.
Yeah,
he's not going very far.
I mean, he's not as dynamic as Bryce Underwood or Sorsby, really. So
he's not going.
Likes to run, not going very far. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's so you basically got to feel
kind of like me on like my jogs. Like, I like to run, I just don't go very far.
Don't have the pass. I think so. Look, it comes down to what we got. We feel good about our offense against their defense in pretty much every facet. On the running game, on the passing game, like, we were going to put up points, we're going to put up yards.
I think even more specifically, through the air against their defense, and then defending through the air, our defense versus their offense.
Well, I think and then the concern points,
pretty big advantages.
And the concerning points are exactly as they were against Michigan. It's like the run defense, and then if the pass defense shows a breakage, maybe we're in trouble. I think there's, like, the bigger thing too is that, you probably put too much into this, but year 3 rule versus year 2 coach, you got to figure it's like you've got the program in a better place. They were 5-7 last year. They're improved this year. They probably feel good about almost beating USC, or at least hanging in close to that game. That was a weird game for them too, by the way. It was like a 10 p.m. Eastern time zone start time in California. So it was like, I think it started at 8 out there. So they were a little bit off there. But I like to think, like, coach who's like 1 year further along in the development with his guy, with his quarterback, with his team in place, like, should have a coaching advantage in that instance.
So Camden Parks also just threw in a little comment here. Appreciate that. Waiting on the EJ Legacy game in Minneapolis, 40 carries.
Amen, baby.
My stat on that I've been, like, kind of tracking, because I'm a little worried about EJ's durability. But Emmett has the 15th most touches in the country right now, with 87 through 4 games, and that's second in the conference. And then I tweeted earlier this week too. He's on track to have a top 10 season in touches. Now, will he get the yards? I don't know, but it's a lot. I mean, we're talking like almost Amir Abdullah level workload, where he was getting to 300 touches in a season. And right now, EJ in over the course of 13 games is going to touch the ball around 280 to 285 times if he's on this pace of over 20 touches a game. I don't know if he can hold up, but I do think this is one of those games.
They seem to not have any confidence in the backups either, which is concerning.
Yeah, I mean, but like this might be a game where you actually start to see that. Like if we can air it out as much as we think that we can, then I don't know. You hate to say it, but does it become one of those like you pass in order to open up the run?
Right.
I hate being that team, but like, and it's not Big Ten football typically, but that's kind of the way that things have gone. And then Dana Holgorsen just said in a press conference like yesterday or today, he was just like, well, we're not really going to keep running if it's not working. So it's just like, yeah, he's got a point. Like Emmett Johnson ran for like 10 yards in the second half against Michigan. 10. He had over 10 on his first carry. So like it's not working. We're just going to keep airing it out, I guess. So yeah, but anyway, the final thing would just be that USC ran for 289 yards, I believe, on Michigan State. And I think that we maybe see that tape a little bit and realize, okay, we can pass on them. Maybe we can run on them too and take a pretty balanced attack here. So I expect us to exploit them through the air, but I think EJ could have a sneaky good day.
EJ, all right. What's your score prediction?
Well, I will say the final part of things that is special teams. Don't forget, we have a special teams now. We used to ignore this.
It's fun. It's fun to have.
Both as podcasters and as as a school. They used to ignore special teams for quite a while. They would just send Ed Foley on runs out to runs in Kearney and stuff, and he'd be like, "Wow, isn't this great?
This is so fun." I mean,
I'm in North Platte, Nebraska, and they're like, "Yeah, Ed, go ahead and go find a field goal kicker from Columbus." Like, yeah, let's see if you can find another punt return gunner out in Wahoo. Let's see what high school is churning out some local speed. And he's just like, "Oh, this is great. Oh, this is just great. Thanks." And we sucked at special teams.
Yeah.
But anyway, they have a great punter. And he actually might be.
Is he Australian?
He might be their best player. It's like one of the number one punt units on in the Big Ten and in the country right now. I think he's averaging 53 yards per punt, which is good. It's like close to 8-ish yards more than us, I believe, right now. So that is good. And then the final thing that I want to say before score predictions that I found out was scrolling through their roster, I stumbled upon Alante Brown.
Unbelievable.
Is still playing football.
He's going to be like pre-COVID?
Yes. He committed to Michigan State in 2018. And then he decommitted in 2019, committed to us. He's all the way back when there was that signing period in February when people would wait until then. So he commits to us in like 2019. He played under Scott Frost for 3 years, Dave. He started his second career at Michigan State. He's in year 3 right now with them. He's got like 300 receiving yards total in his 6-year career. It hasn't gone as planned for a 4-star wide receiver. But he actually is a great kick returner. He's got like 100 plus kick return yards on the season. So I heard he might be hurt. I don't know how true that is. It's really hard to find Alante Brown news. That's what I've got. It's just like a fun random tidbit.
That's a very random one. Let me throw one more thing at you.
Hit me.
Now that you've got me going down this path, so Kunanen is 20. This is like speaking of not talking about special teams, which I'd love to not talk about him because Kunanen. I would like to just not talk about him at all.
Yeah,
because he's 22 of 22 in extra points, which it should be that way, and he's missed. What is he? 12 for 13 on field goals.
He's only missed one. Yeah,
he's missed one.
It turned out to be a big one. We lost by 3 in the game that he missed one.
Crucial, but I'll give him props for it because I'm now like I've been meaning to do this and to go back in time, and I don't even know if I'm going back far enough. But you ready for these like trips down memory lane?
Yeah.
All right. In 2018, we only
Yeah.
missed one extra point, but we missed 4 field goals. We were 70% on field goals. 2019. Let's see if this loads quick. Where's the year? 2019, we made all of our extra points. We were 12 for 20 on field goals made. 12 for 20 in that year. That's the year of Pickering and Lane
12?
McCollum. 12 for 20.
12
Missed 8
for
field
20.
12 for 20. Right now we're 12 for 13. We were 12 for 20 the entire season.
For 20 is
12 for 20.
Shameful.
That
That's
was
like
in
8th grade when you're just like, can anybody kick?
2019.
I don't know.
2020 was Connor Culp. That was better. 13 for 15.
Yeah.
2021. I think 2021 is a catastrophe year. 2021, we missed 4 extra points. And then we're 8 for 16 on field goals. 8 for 16. So in 2 of the years that Frost coached, we were 12 for 20 on field goals and then 8 for 16. So we have already in 4 games made more field goals than Frost's last year, 2021, where we made 8 the entire season and missed 4 extra points. 8 for 16 on field goals. Isn't that crazy? And that's
why Alonzo Brown transferred. He was tired of crappy special teams.
That's like, I mean, that's the stuff that's like, it's so simple to be like, I always keep back to this like Bo Rude thing when he goes on the Nick Bob podcast. And he's like, when I played, we never talked about special teams because like your field goal unit comes out when you failed as an offense, and then they just kick and they make the field goal, and that's the thing. And like the extra point unit goes on, and they just walk on and they like just make the kick. And the fact that we went 8 of 16 3 years ago and 12 of 24 years, or no, 4 years ago was 8 of 16, 5 years ago was 12 of 20 during the Frost era, and he just never got a kicker. The fact that we're at least directionally, no, we're 6 of 7 this year. Sorry, we're only 6 for 7 this year. 22 for 22 extra points.
That was the 3-9 year, wasn't it? With all the one possession game.
Yeah, 3-9 year, missed all the field goals. So he's 6 for 7. He's missed 1 critical one. Hopefully he continues on this track. But the fact that he's 22 of 22 is fantastic. So keep it going, Kyle. Please stop missing field goals, and also please stop kicking out of bounds. Whoever keeps doing that.
Score and Alvano.
Score prediction. What do you got?
Yeah, so I have gone back and forth on this. I mean, I started preseason with we're going to lose to Michigan State as just like a sneaky loss. Until proven otherwise, like after a game like this, I'm really struggling with that spread of 11, opening at 11.5 and public betting it down to 10.5. But I think that's about right. I think I like us to win by 10. Give me a little 38-28.
What's the over-unders at 53.5? It opened at 53.5. It's basically at 50. So 50 means it's going to be 30-20 is what Vegas says. 30-20. I think we're going to score more than 30. What'd you say?
38-28.
Yeah, that sounds closer to right. I mean, I put our offense.
I don't like to think that we give up 28, to be honest, but
I like to think our offense is not quite a USC, but close. And they put up 45, so we're maybe in that 38-42 range, and then they're, I think, 10-14 below that. You said 38-28. I'll say 35-21. There we go.
I like that. Yeah.
14. Cover the spread.
I like that. I mean,
cover the spread and then hit the unders.
Yeah. They're Michigan State's got 30 points in their last 3 games. So, they're firing and stuff right now. We'll see if the black shirts are up to the task, but I really like our offense. Like if there's a prop bet on the total yards from our offense, I'm betting a mortgage on the over on the yards. I don't know. I'm not great at finishing drives, but I know that we can start them against this defense.
Love it. Let's do a quick rapid fire around the Big Ten for this weekend. There's some interesting games. Ready?
Yeah.
Wisconsin is playing Michigan. Michigan's favored by
16. Didn't even hear the second opponent. Wisconsin's going to lose.
Oh, I mean,
what are they playing? Doing? If you say Wisconsin, I say loss.
I mean, take a beat.
Yeah.
And think about how insane this is. Wisconsin, who won the Big Ten essentially 10 straight years, they beat us mercilessly for a
Rest
decade
in peace to
straight.
the Big Ten West.
They
did
won
feel like
10. They had 10 plus wins, 10 straight years, 15 straight years, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to win another game? It's crazy.
No. I don't
Like
know. If they've got like UCLA or Northwestern on there, they might, but like no. Otherwise, I think they've got a really rough schedule. I think they have the hardest schedule in the Big Ten, if I am not mistaken. They still have some rough matchups here.
They play.
Like,
ready for this?
they
Go
all of the
Wisconsin.
top 4 teams. Or
they
actually,
play Wisconsin.
They have all of the top 6 teams. I want to say
Wisconsin, followed by Iowa, followed by Ohio State, followed by Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota. So they still have Ohio State number 1, Oregon number 2, Michigan at 20, Indiana at 8, and Illinois at 22. I mean, I don't think the
top 5 teams in the Big Ten.
They might go 2-10. How insane is that? Wisconsin might go 2-10.
I mean, I put 25 large down. Not large, just $25.00.
25 small. 25 small
on them.
That's what that's called. 25 small.
On them to go under 5.5 wins, and I don't think they're gonna get within 2 of that. I think 3 and 9 is they're just a mess. I don't like players quit. They start anyway. This is not rapid
it's
fire
Fickle.
as well.
Is Fickle fired?
I'll stand down, but Fickle's
Fickle fired.
Yeah, he's done.
It's crazy. I wanted him in Nebraska. How crazy is that?
I did too. He was looking great at Cincinnati. That turns out it was all Marcus Freeman's doing, and then he went to Notre Dame.
Oh my goodness, unbelievable!
Marcus Freeman was like the D coordinator.
All right, the other games aren't as good. That's probably like the Illinois versus Purdue. Illinois, I think, is probably going to crush them. Penn State plays UCLA. That team has quit. UCLA is 0-4.
Yeah.
Penn State's favored by 26.5. They're probably going to absolutely pound them, especially coming off a loss from Oregon. Yeah. Washington, Maryland. Washington's favored by 6.5. Maryland, if they win, they get into the top 25, and then Nebraska plays them as top 25 game, and sets us up well for that.
I like.
Do you think Maryland versus Washington? What do you think?
Yeah, Washington looked anemic against Ohio State, but Ohio State is just
very good.
I mean, they are just so good again. Like they just have so many dudes, and their defense is like I thought that was kind of a Jim Knowles machine last year. They're crushing teams this year. I mean, Washington's offense was clicking until they played Ohio State, and Ohio State held them to 6 points. It was like sort of close of a game, but then they just pulled away. It was awesome. So yeah, but I do think Washington is probably overall the better team. Ignoring the Ohio State game, which is not legal to do, but if you did ignore the Ohio State game and you look at Washington's body of work, I think they've got a little bit of a talent differential there versus Maryland. Maryland got hit pretty hard in the portal.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. I think Maryland wins 5-0 and everybody gets their wish and we get to play an undefeated team, and maybe it would be like the lamest like top 25 win, but whatever.
Sick,
we'll take it.
Just beat number 25.
Yeah, beat literally number 25, who's like 5-1 and may finish like 5-7. It'd be like the equivalent of that BC Florida State win.
Counts.
And then the last game of the weekend, Minnesota, Ohio State. You think PJ Fleck's got any chance of beating Ohio State? Ohio State's favored by 23.5.
Goodness. Wow.
No chance.
I didn't think it'd be that big of a spread, but like, no, that Ohio State in that one.
He's got Ohio State, folks.
Maybe we'll keep it close for a little bit and surprise them on defense or something, but Ohio State pulls away. Any
parting shots as we head out into our Michigan State week?
I just had one on the top of my head, and now I'm not remembering it, but I guess my parting shot is. Oh yeah. Okay. Wait. Now I just remembered it, so we can just cut the part where I just said I didn't remember. I am very excited to watch this offense open something up here a little bit. So everyone talks about these statement games, and last week, 100 or 2 weeks ago, 100% agree. Like that was obviously a chance to make a huge statement on national stage, whatever. The other thing that makes a statement is if you go and pull an Indiana and just beat the tar out of a team.
Just 56-10.
Especially coming off of a loss. That is probably like it's one of your other ways of saying like, okay, this team is not just like mailing it in. Like if we go and win by 3 touchdowns, people are gonna be like all the way back in, and we need that so badly. So get there early, be loud, do your thing, Husker Nation. I feel real good that Rayola's going to have an absolute field day, and it's going to be a fun time to watch that part of things at least.
Yeah, I think,
but probably pretty dang stressful as it normally is.
No, it'll be. I think, unfortunately, it'd be unbelievable if that comes. I think the reality of it being likely closer to like a 1-score game is, the nature of the game.
Yeah, I still have them covering.
Regardless, I think there's an element of this is the stretch that everybody talked about before the season started. Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern, all before November turns the corner, and you've got USC, UCLA is completely gone, and then Penn State, Iowa. But that stretch of having USC, Penn State, Iowa, and those 3 of those last 4 games is not a fun stretch. So this is the 4-game stretch that's like new season starts. We're 3-1 in the first part of the season, middle part of the season. I mean, everybody wants to go 4-0 in this part, but you at minimum got to go 3-1. And that starts with the Michigan State win. Maryland and Minnesota both can be tough, and you can't lose to Northwestern. So I think if I pick 2 that have to be guaranteed wins, it's got to be Michigan State, Northwestern. And then of the Maryland, Minnesota, are we going to drop one? We historically have. I'd love to not. But those 2 games are going to be very, very tough. Friday night Minnesota game and an at Maryland game, 2 tough games. So that to me is where like this has to be a statement game. It's got to be a win because you lose this one heading into Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern. You're like, oh God, where's that? Like, then you're staring down bowl eligibility again. You got to play that stupid game. But a Michigan State game puts you at 4-1, headed into a stretch of Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern. That I think is a very strong position to be in. We're playing meaningful football into October. Like that to me is like what's been missing forever is like, even if we're not going to go to the playoff, like, can you just give me meaningful football so I care, so like we get to USC and it's at least like, I don't know, maybe,
Absolutely. I mean, everything is like, truly everything is still kind of on the table. Like it was maybe a little bit of a long shot to be talking playoff, a little, but technically that's still on the table if you do want to talk about it again. But
it's on the table, but it's you need.
I do think you needed that win, obviously, against Michigan.
Here's the last thing.
You have to beat USC or Penn State.
The last thing I'll throw out, a parting shot on a parting shot, is Poly Market, who I'm not entirely sure how this works. I'm pretty sure it's like
I think was this fake?
It was from Poly Market Sports, which is
like engagement farming, right? I don't know.
The most accurate sports ads and forecasts in the world. It's something's off about it. I don't quite understand it. Regardless, they've got Rayola up in the top of the Heisman conversation. They've got him at number 1. That doesn't actually, who knows how that actually works. But regardless, I think with him, it's like he needs a statement game too. Like like for him to be, I know he's got aspirations of winning the Heisman and being an All-American and being, all those things. These are the types of games that you're like, all right, let's see it.
Yeah.
And this is the game that's like, all of a sudden he comes out 350, 354 touchdowns and we pound him. It's like, all right, the kid can play.
We've got something here.
Yeah. So he needs a statement game. We need a statement game. I think it's coming. I think the boys are going to be ready. Shout out to everybody for listening. We appreciate you guys coming on a Tuesday night. Make sure you check out huskguysstore.com for cool merch. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the different channels. We got 150,000 live that are following us all across all the different channels. We appreciate you. And go Big Red.